G'day everyone, hopefully you're doing well. It's Bruce again from the Joinery Coach. Hopefully you're doing fantastically amazing. I am on holidays, as you might know, having a good time, but as any good business coach would think, this is a good time to be thinking about next year and what you might do. So I'm putting out a couple of little tips over the next few days just to help you think about how to plan your business growth in the next year. Most people right now are probably thinking about how can 2024 be better than 2023? How can this next year coming up be better than the one I just had? I'm going to throw a couple of things at you here today. They're not going to be really heavy or deep, but just a couple of things to think about. And if you would like to have a further conversation or even ask more questions, this video is going out live through a couple of different platforms. So you could either comment below, you could send me a message, you could join our Facebook group, the Joinery Business Hub, and engage in a conversation, or you can go to our website, thejoinerycoach.com, and go to the Contact Us, and you can book a call with me there. So that's a little bit about if you want to carry on more conversations. But let's talk a little bit about where you're at right now in business. So most businesses are in some place. Doesn't matter what this period of time is. Let's just say this is now. This is where you're at right now. And the reality is that every business is in one of three positions. And those three positions kind of look like this. You're either really struggling right now and you're going through some really tough times. And the thing is, there's a period of time prior to this that has happened well before this downturn is happening here. So the things that are happening now that you're feeling are maybe your business is in trouble, or you just can't get to where you want to go. Maybe you're seriously out of money. Maybe there really is some serious things in business right now. And this is a tough road to be on. And I hate it. I honestly hate it. But the fact of the matter is there are some businesses that are in this situation. And these situations sometimes are out of your control, but usually they are within your control. There are things like, the client didn't pay, those sort of situations. So let's call that situation or position number one in business. The other position some businesses are in is what we call a roller coaster. Things are good, things are tough, things are good, things are tough, things are good, things are tough. This is a kind of a tough road to be on because, as you can see, it never gets better. It gets a little bit better and a little bit worse and a little bit better and a little bit worse. It's a little bit like masochism. And the reality is these businesses will have a tendency to tank as well if you don't do something about this. But this is position number two. There's a lot of businesses, and I don't like it even, I like it even less than position number one, because if you really stop and think about it, businesses that are riding this roller coaster that never really achieve much success, they're kind of the ones that fail, in my opinion. The ones that end up down here are often the ones that start again and they learn from their mistakes, or they figure out what they needed to do in order to get things right. So position one, position two, and the third position is businesses that are doing exceptionally well. Now the interesting thing is businesses that are in position number three, let's give this a different color. Let's say businesses that are in position three right now, let's just say that when the pandemic hit, that was right now, 2019, 2020, these businesses that were doing well continue to do well because they had already prepared for tough times. They'd already created an amazing business. They had money in the bank, and they kind of went, yeah, you know what? This is kind of crappy. Obviously, a pandemic is crappy, but we're okay. We've got some money in the bank, our systems, and, these ones here that are on this situation here, they had to make a decision, because if they didn't do something about their business, they would have actually ended up down here. And the really interesting thing about our business, the Joinery Coach, is we got contacted by people that were here, and we got contacted by people that were here. And these ones that are here right now, or when they contacted us during this tough period of time, which happened right here, their goal was actually to get up to here. Most of the people that were in this situation here we're committed to either a business closure or something like that. So those are sort of the three, let's call those the three levels of business. You're doing exceptionally well, you're riding the roller coaster, or you're sort of tanking right now. If you're tanking right now, it's a terrible, terrible place to be in mentally. It's a terrible experience to have, but I'm here to tell you that it is, you can get through it. So let's talk a little bit about what the actual industry looks like, what actually happens in this industry. Doesn't matter what position you're in. So think about, these positions, you're either in position number 1, 2, or 3, and you're going to make a plan for next year. We're going to say, great, 2023 was whatever it was in your world. It might have been great, it might have been terrible, it might have been just okay. But obviously you want 2024 to be exceptionally better than 2023. So in this short little conversation I'm going to have with you today, I'm going to help you understand a little bit better where you're actually at. Because every single client, every person, every team, every business that we start working with starts from somewhere. Every business has, enters our program or enters our help at a certain point. It might be in real dire straits, and that happens sometimes. Or it might be a business that is actually doing exceptionally well, and you just want to get a little bit better. So in order to make a plan, in order for even us as coaches, as a professional team of business coaches, to be able to help you as a client, the first thing we need to discover with you is, where are you at right now? What are the things you actually need? So it makes sense. If you're going to think about making a plan for next year, don't just start making a business plan. Don't download a template and just start filling it out. You've got to figure out where you are right now. So I'm going to go through the typical journey that we see business owners in the joinery industry on right now. And this is not situational based. This isn't United States or Canada or Australia or the UK. This is joinery businesses all over the world. We see this exact same thing no matter where you're at. Businesses that are battling right now, and you feel like you've got, like you're all alone and you're just losing the game and you're still dreaming of what you wanted to achieve. That's a battle. And if you feel like it's just a battle every single day, you probably feel like you're a victim. Things are happening to you. And there's a bit of a myth out there with a lot of people that are in this category here. They seem to believe the myth that more knowledge will not make them more money. So why would I get someone to help me? Why would I even consider paying $1 or whatever it is to get more knowledge, because it's just simply not going to help me? And it's just simply a myth. So a lot of people down here in this category here just do not ever ask for help, because they don't believe that more knowledge or more skill is going to help them at all. It is true, though, new knowledge, when it's not applied to action, will not help. It's a little bit like going on YouTube to learn how to play the guitar. You can only get so far, and then you actually have to pick the guitar up and start playing it. So new knowledge on how to play the guitar without actually picking up the guitar and playing it actually won't help you at all. So it is true that new knowledge plus action builds momentum. So what we find time and time again is that people that have that switch in their brain, that they go, great, I actually need to get help to learn something new. If this is where you're at right now, the first thing you want to do next year is to figure out how you can get help, get new knowledge, new skills, new ability to build the business, because then you're going to get up here and you're going to start controlling things just a little bit better. You're going to start feeling like you've got a little bit of a disjointed team, but at least it's a team that's coming together. You might get to a point next year where you're feeling like you're breaking even, and you might start feeling like you're taking one step forward, and that's okay. But that just isn't quite good enough, because if you stay in that yellow zone, in the coping zone, what will happen is one bad thing happens to business and you're right back down here again, right? So you need to keep taking those steps forward. You need to keep taking strides. It is a little bit like getting fit and losing weight, right? You can probably lose a couple of kilos and feel great and then stop. And then pretty soon you're back to your old eating habits and you put on another 5 kilos. So you really need to keep going. You really need to keep pushing through and going up another level up in here. So if you find that you're feeling like you've got a team, but it's a little bit disjointed, and you're just breaking even, and you are taking a step forward, but you're not really in dire straits, in this level right here, in the yellow coping level, this is a zone where you really want to start putting some better systems in place. You want to take things that are working for you right now and really growing them. And it really will be about growing your team. It'll be well and truly about growing your team. But just coping and feeling like you're in control, again, is not good enough, because you could end up back down into the battle zone. So once you start getting some gains and getting some wins on the board and feeling those, and maybe from some new knowledge, some new ways of doing things, you start feeling like you're actually taking some steps forward. You're going to get some temporary relief, and you're going to feel like you're on a new path moving forward. We often think that what we do with clients is hold you accountable to you. So, what you want to achieve in business is about what you want to achieve in business. Whatever the size of your business is, that's going to be the size that you want it to be. It's not anybody else's size. It's, growth is a bit of a fallacy. You want to get your business to be the right size, essentially. So once you're at that point, it's a matter of trying to relieve the pressure points and managing the business a whole lot better. And that is, again, going to be about growing your team, getting your team to take over, because then you'll have clarity, because you'll be able to step away from the business. But managing and seeing gains and getting some temporary relief is still not good enough to sustain the business to keep going forward. Time and time again, we've seen businesses that are in this managing area, and I'll be really clear, businesses that are managing and doing okay are quite often businesses that are sort of in this zone in here. Businesses that are managing, coping are in this zone in here. So what we really want to help people do is strive to get up to this stage of winning, because too many businesses that I hear say, well, it's good enough. But you didn't go into business to settle for good enough. If you just wanted good enough, you probably could have stayed an employee. That's probably good enough. Business is too risky, in my opinion. It's too expensive. There are too many downfalls. You're going to spend too much time in your life to not try and create an amazing business that's really going to give you the lifestyle that you're looking for. So don't settle for just good enough. In some of my past conversations, I've talked about how we often hear people say, if I just earn a wage, I'm happy. But it really isn't. It isn't good enough, because the risk that you take in business is very, very high. So whenever you have a high risk, there should be a high reward. Being an employee is not a high risk. So you get a decent reward by being paid properly, but you don't have the risk that you carry being a business owner. So we want everybody to strive to get up to this top level here of truly winning in business, and taking the weight of the business off your shoulders, making sure that on your team everybody has a very clear lane that they're working in, making sure that you have financial certainty and you have real pride in what you're doing. We certainly know that business owners want to feel this release, so that you feel the weight of the business coming off your shoulders. You want to get this reward, and reward can be anything from financial. Let me get this working here. Reward can be anything from financial, have a substantial amount of money in the bank, so that you can take your family away on holidays, so that you can do great things in business. Financial reward can also mean that you can give back to your team and your business. You might give to your church, you might give to your footy club, but that reward part of it is what you need to strive to get to in business, because that's the payback. That's the risk reward benefit. But we also know that business owners in this industry often work mentally under a cloud of losing respect for themselves and feeling like others around them don't respect them, because they're just always in this battle mode down here. So once you start getting some wins on the board, you often see sporting people that have a high degree of confidence, and everybody respects them. In fact, they're widely revered, and that's because they've achieved amazing things. And that's not to say that they're amazing people necessarily, but it certainly is the feeling that they have. I can tell you from broad experience, virtually thousands of joinery business owners over the last 25 years, the vast majority of people I've met are amazing people that in many cases their confidence is shot, and they don't have this amount of respect for themselves that they should have, because they are amazing people. So getting the wins on the board and getting your business to take the weight off your shoulders and give you what you want is really where you want to be. So think about where you're at. Let's say there's 4 stages here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're up at this stage in here, We have some clients that we work with that are doing exceptional things in business. They're at a 25% net profit margin. Their team is great. They're not having to work on the business. Now it's about maintaining things. So your plan, if you're at stage number 4, your plan is going to be, how do I maintain this moving forward so that the business itself becomes more self-sufficient without me. If you're at stage 3, it's really going to be about building your team and getting your team to take the weight off your shoulders, giving your team the ability to manage the business. If you're at stage number 2, where you just feel like you don't have the control you need, then this is going to be about building the team. Down here, it's about building the team. Up here, it's about giving the team the ability to manage the business. Down here, it really is a wide and varied amount of things. You might not have enough work, but if you're just feeling like you're battling all the time, there's probably multiple things in business. And in actual fact, down here, it's really more about you knowing what you need to do. Because if you're battling all the time, it probably means you just really don't know how to run the business properly quite yet. Doesn't mean that you can't. We have equal amount of confidence in every single person that we work with that they can learn how. But if you're battling all the time and you feel like the business is just too hard, there are literally hundreds and maybe thousands, maybe more than that, of businesses in this industry around you that are not battling, that are just like you. So it really comes down to your ability to want to learn more, and that's how you're going to get out of the battler mode up into coping mode. So this is really about knowledge, learning more. So when you think about your plan, if you're down in here, think about where are you going to find that knowledge from, where are you going to get the help from, because it doesn't come to you overnight. You don't just all of a sudden have new knowledge appear in your brain just because you've tried hard for a long period of time. That's not how knowledge works. You have to get it from somewhere else. You're only ever going to be at the level that you're at right now until you gain some new skills for your kit bag. And once you do, then you can start learning how to cope with the business better and build your team. And then you can get your team to manage the business a whole lot better under your guidance. And then once you get up here into the winning mode, it's really about finding a way to keep the business going forward. So when we build business plans, there's really the plan itself is going to go from stage 1 potentially to stage 2 to stage 3 to stage 4. And that's how the plan needs to go through things. There isn't just a one plan, one size fits all for your business. And each business is different and has different needs. As it grows and as it gets better, the plan will change. But that's essentially what we do when we help businesses create business plans. We first want to make sure we know where you are right now, and then we can start helping you mold the things that you need. Hopefully that helps a little bit, thinking about your planning for next year as to what you might need to take those next steps. You need to know where you are right now. Not every business that we start working with is in desperate need of help or an imminent risk of business failure. A lot of businesses are doing quite well, and they just want to be able to do a little bit better. So wherever you are right now, make sure that that's where you start your plan from to go to the next level. Hopefully that helps. Again, if you want to reach out to me, there's various ways that you can. I'd love to have a chat. Even if you want to just join our free Facebook group and join the conversation in the hub, that's a good way to just to get a little bit more information. Or you could listen to the podcast, the Joinery Business Podcast on Spotify, the joinerybusinesspodcast.com. There's a website, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of free help that we're giving you right now, so hopefully it helps. Have an amazing rest of your holidays. We're getting very, very close to New Year's Eve. It's the 29th right now, and hopefully you have a good celebration on New Year's Eve and have a good start to January. All right, have a nice day, and we'll chat with you real soon. Cheers.